Amazon FBA plus business funding combined together is a foolproof way for anyone to start their journey into becoming a self-made millionaire. This is what I used to go from a 9-to-5 manual labor job, working warehouse jobs, construction jobs, to now making $30K per month, all from my laptop. I did it all in less than a year. So I'm gonna break down to you how you can leverage business funding, which is basically borrowing money from a bank, how you can get access to that and use that to buy inventory for your Amazon FBA store and sell it at a profit to be the beginning of a very successful Amazon FBA business. Now, the first thing that we need to talk about is your personal credit score. Your personal credit score is where all of this starts. Now, the first thing we need to talk about is Amazon. Amazon is an inventory-based business, meaning as an Amazon FBA store owner, my job is to buy products that consumers are looking for and supply them on a platform. In this case, the platform is Amazon. Now, this business being inventory-based means the people who are winning the most are the people with the most inventory. If I start with $100 and I buy $100 in inventory, sure, I can double my money, I can flip it to $200, but that also means if I have $1,000, I can flip it to $2,000. If I've got $10,000, I can flip it to $20,000. And the money only gets exponentially greater the more capital that you have to start with. Now, this is where business funding comes in. I would not be where I'm at if it was not for business funding. This is the most underrated thing that no one talks about when it comes to Amazon FBA. Everyone loves to talk about what you should do when you start, the details about ungating, shipping templates, sourcing, all this. Now, while all that is very important, what's more important is having the capital to start your business off in a way where you can start really collecting a bag as soon as possible. Now, how do we get business funding? The most popular route for people to take to get business funding is doing something called a personal guarantee. So a personal guarantee is basically where me, an individual, goes to a bank like, let's say, Chase, and I open up a business account because, let's say, last week I just opened my LLC. When I open up my business account, Chase is going to look at my credit profile and determine whether or not I'm worthy for business funding. Basically, they're going to look at my credit score and determine whether they want to let me borrow some money to start my business or not. Now, having everything structured before you go to the bank is the secret to getting that business funding. So I'm going to lay out the structure that you need to have so that when you go to any bank and ask for business funding, you'll get those $50,000 to $200,000 approvals, no problem. People think that this is out of reach, and I can understand how it could feel like that, because when I was first starting, I didn't think there was anybody who would let me hold a bag that big, who would basically take my word that I'm starting this business, look at my credit profile and go, boom, here's $80,000. But that's exactly what happened. I went and opened my LLC, structured it the right way, structured my credit the right way, went to Chase, got two $40,000 business credit cards that added up to 80 grand that now I have to spend for my products. And this helped me out phenomenally. Before getting business funding, I had scaled my store by myself from $500 to about $8,000 a month. But after getting my business funding from Chase, the very next month, I did my first $22,000 month. Changed the whole game. So the things that you need to have in order are, number one, you need to have a good credit score. If your credit score is messed up right now, you need to start working on that. There are ways to get it fixed. You can either hire a credit repair professional to do it for you or learn how to repair your own credit. There are consumer protection laws that you can use to remove things from your credit profile. At the end of the day, it's your profile. You have control over what stays on it. Now, if you already have a pretty good credit profile, you need to have it structured for funding. A lot of people think just because they have a 700 credit score, they can go and get a whole lot of funding or get approved for a whole lot of things. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Most institutions that run your credit don't really look at your credit score as much as they look at your credit profile. Now, while a bad credit score can harm you, a good credit score does not mean that you're going to get approved for the max funding. So what you need to have on your credit profile is, number one, a 680 or higher. This lets the banks know that you're trustworthy. After that, you need to have a credit line for at least $1,500, a revolving credit line for at least $1,500. You got to let the bank know that you're used to holding money and paying it back as you use it. You also need to have some age on your profile, at least an average age of 1 year. From there, the more positive accounts you have reporting on your profile, the better. You can use things like self or rent reporters to boost your credit and report things like rent and phone bills so that you can have more positive motion on your credit profile. Remember, these banks are lending you money. The sexier your profile can look to them, the more that they're going to give you money. This is basically like dressing up. This is basically the same thing as dressing your body up to go into the store to go into the bank and ask for money, you're dressing your profile up so when they look at it, everything looks nice and neat and they want to give you some money. Now, last thing you should not have on your credit profile is any negatives. No late payments, no charge-offs, no collections, no repos. If you have any of that stuff, get it taken off for credit repair. If you stay to the end of the video, I'm gonna give you some resources for credit repair. Now, after your personal score is in line with what you need to show the banks, the next thing you're gonna wanna have is an LLC that is structured for funding. Now, if you are starting a business, don't just go out there and form an LLC. When it's time to come get funding, you're gonna wish that you would have thought about how to structure your LLC. So I'm gonna tell you about how to structure it right now. First things first, you need to have a good name on your LLC. So many people overlook this, but imagine somebody comes to you and tells you that they want to borrow $80,000. Now, when you ask them what is that $80,000 for, they tell you that, oh, I want to start a restaurant or I want to start a tattoo shop. If I look at the statistics on restaurants, I know a lot of them fail in their first year, and probably the same for tattoo shops. So when you're starting your LLC, don't use names that are going to trigger high risk alerts to the banks. I had a guy the other day that had an LLC name, his first and last name, and then lawn services. That's one of the most risky things that you can get into with a very high fail rate, and the banks know this. The banks have data on all businesses and how well that they perform. So pick a name that keeps you generic and business minded. Enterprises, industries, these type of things, while it may sound superficial, can make a huge difference when you're going to the bank and asking for these high limits, because at the end of the day, if you're doing consulting, that's a lot better than you having to buy thousands of dollars of equipment to start a construction business where you may not be paying them back. The next thing your LLC needs to have is a presence. Trust me, when you ask the bank to borrow some money, they're gonna look into your business. You wanna show up on the Google pages. You wanna show up on 411 listings. You wanna show up with a website if they look you up. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but it needs to come off as professional and serious. You also need to have an actual business phone number as well as a business email and a business address, even if it's a virtual business address. When you go to the bank and you ask for money, they're going to ask you for your number, your address, and your email. If your email is laneontobarrows@gmail.com, it's pretty much like you're a random dude asking for money. But if I go in there and my email is lane@atlasparade.com, I just made myself a whole lot more professional and gave these people at the bank more trust in me that I'm gonna pay them back because I got something going on over here. And that's hugely important. These things all play a part in how much funding you'll get. If you max out all of these categories to look as good as they can, you only add more and more and more funding every time that you accommodate the bank and make yourself look good. So once you have an LLC that's structured for funding and you have a credit profile that's structured for funding, all you've got to do is decide what cards and institutions to go for. Now, something that is hugely important that a lot of people overlook is relationship banking. Everyone wants to know what's the best bank to go to whenever you're looking to get business funding, and my answer is the same every time. The best bank to go to for business funding or any funding of that in that matter is the bank that you've been banking with for the longest. So for example, if you're one of these people who had a Chase account when they were 15, one of the minor accounts, and have been rocking with Chase since then, go with Chase. They're gonna throw you a bigger bag because they know you, they trust you, and they know you're not going anywhere. If I go to a new bank today and I ask them for funding and they never met me before, they're gonna be a little bit more weary and look even deeper into my profiles to see if I'm worthy or not. Relationship banking is huge. This is a good point for business funding or personal funding. If you're looking to secure a big bag, start rubbing elbows with the people who've got that bag. I don't understand why people are so afraid to go to banks or so afraid to start an account with a bank. There's so many things that you can do to boost your credit profile. A play that you can do with any credit union or bank is to go make an account with them, drop a couple dollars every week into that account. Even having a direct deposit can do huge things to your account, as well as getting a secured card with them or even a credit card if they offer it, and then getting something like a pledge loan where you put up the money for the loan, they let you borrow it back, and you show that you can be responsible. Basically like speed running trust with a bank. Again, all you've got to do is go to a bank, Open a checking and a savings account with them. Periodically drop money into that account and be a consumer of their credit products, whether that be credit cards, loans, pledge loans, anything that can build that trust, that internal score with that bank or credit union. Later on down the line, these are the things that are going to lead to lots of doors being open for you because you have these relationships with these banks. These banks loan out insane amounts of money every single day. There's lots of money floating around, lots of entrepreneurs grabbing that for seed funding, grabbing that for their companies, and this is where we see the biggest separation from companies that thrive and companies that don't even make it past year one, is because most companies that fail don't have the capital that they need. And most of the time, that is a result of not knowing about business funding. So my only objective here today was to educate you on how you can use business funding to get started in Amazon FBA, or for that matter, any business that you're looking to get into. This Amazon FBA is the route that I took, and I think it's a great route. But if you're getting into anything, you need funding, and anyone can get funding. Now, if you're looking to get business funding done for you, you can hit me up on IG. I'll throw my IG up right here. The results are there. You see them all the time. I did it. My friends did it. All my students do it. Don't hesitate. Don't procrastinate. Make your future self proud. Make that move. And also, as I always say, sell things online and make lots of money.